In this era of modern warfare, we cannot overlook the importance of knowing about enduring the worst. Can you? Often we see many nations and superpowers focusing on nuclear weapons, testing them, and sometimes things just get worse. And we need to stay prepared. So sit back, be attentive, and enjoy our video on how to survive a nuclear attack, and get yourself known to these survival tactics. Before learning about the survival tactics in case of nuclear attacks, it's essential to know what we are actually surviving and take preparation, right? So we'll keep the information to the point. Nuclear weapons can be divided into two different types: fission and fusion. Now, fission is the most basic nuclear weapon you might hear about as an atomic bomb. These weapons get unimaginable power by splitting heavy nuclei like uranium-235 and plutonium-239 with neutrons. The process releases a massive amount of energy, while the additional neutrons create an incredibly swift chain reaction and generate destructive force. If we look back into the horrible history of World War II, Little Boy and Fat Man were two deadly atom bombs used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Both were fission bombs. Next, there comes the fusion weapons, which are also known as thermonuclear weapons or hydrogen bombs. You'll be astonished to know how these weapons will use the unimaginable amount of heat of a fission reactor in the form of an X-ray. This immense energy will produce an uncontrolled, self-sustaining chain reaction and react with hydrogen isotopes to create many hundred times more powerful destruction than the fission bombs that devastated Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Radiation is basically the after effect of a nuclear explosion created by weapon debris and reactive items. A nuclear blast has a high potential of emitting deadly thermal radiation. Radiation from nuclear weapons can be put into three sections: alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma rays. Now, alpha particles aren't that deadly unless they get ingested or inhaled, as they can easily be stopped by your outer skin or a few centimeters of air. Beta particles are a bit more concerning than the alpha, as these particles can penetrate more and burn your skin like sunburn. Then comes the most dangerous gamma rays, which have the potential to cause severe damage to your outer body parts. Try as much as you can to avoid it, as staying exposed to gamma rays can literally cost your life. As we know what we'll be facing and its after effects, we can move on to our preparations. The best way to save yourself and your loved ones is to prepare your underground basement as a protective bunker. But that's a crucial part, which can be very hard without proper knowledge. According to USNRC, iron or steel is the toughest and most effective to use as a protective shield for your bunker, while reinforced or self-healing concrete is considered best for the basic foundation. So stop being lazy and get yourself prepared for the worst. No one knows when and how something terrible like nukes will happen in the future, right? Which makes this preparation phase more critical for you and your family. Always remember, if anything like that happens, you won't be able to go out for at least 48 hours, so stock up accordingly. First, try getting those 7 to 10 days of emergency food supplies. Or alternatively, you can stock up on non-perishable foods like rice, wheat, beans, sugar, oats, pasta, powdered milk, and dry fruits. These foods will give you the vital energy to keep you strong during any demanding period. In addition, make sure you're storing enough pure drinkable water and try to keep at least a gallon per person per day. Keeping water purification tabs can be very helpful as well. Now, the emergency stock doesn't stay limited to only foods, does it? You'll surely need medical supplies to heal any external injuries or for primary first aid purposes. We also cannot forget about devices like radio, walkie-talkies, cell phones, and whistles so that you can stay updated with the rest of the world. And before purchasing the NOAA radio, make sure that it's a hand crank or solar-powered radio to be more efficient with power consumption. Lastly, prepare your bug-out bag with some essential gear like a tactical flashlight, gas mask, tactical knife, compass, etc. As we're done with all our preparations, let's enlighten ourselves for the final explosion. So, the devastation of an imminent nuclear attack will likely start with a blast and a sudden bright flash in the sky. And God forbid if by chance you stay in the vicinity of the blast, you'll be doomed without any question asked. But even if you're far away from the detonation area, don't be too excited. You only get 10 to 15 seconds before getting hit by the heat wave and 20 to 30 seconds for the shock wave. We know how horrifying it sounds, but you can't get scared in that situation. So be strong, think practically, and make your move. Just turn your face and go to the bunker. In case you didn't make one, just stay in your house. Never expose your skin. We repeat, never. The reason behind this is, according to research, a thermonuclear explosion can cause severe burns to your skin, even at 20 miles away from the detonation. So forget everything else and just go to a shelter as soon as possible. Once you're inside the shelter, the first thing you want to do is treat those thermal burns if you got any. Stay calm and don't panic, as you'll need to save your calories to survive through the upcoming blast wave and radiation. Right after the explosion, the blast wave is the first thing you'll go through. An overpressurized shock wave will blow from ground zero to a vast area, vandalizing and eradicating every building in the area. So be sure to reinforce your shelter correctly and avoid using timber and fiber cement for your bunker. Stay hydrated and use the radio to keep yourself updated with the outer world. Then comes the residual radiation of the nuclear bomb, right after facing the extreme rigors of the shock wave. No matter how far you are from the detonation area, never expose yourself, as a cloud of toxic radioactive particles of the bomb will be uplifted and contaminate everything on its way. You may ask, so how long is it going to stay? Well, according to research by Britannica, the deadly radiation of a nuclear blast can stay for days. So keep enough resources ready and don't expose yourself for at least 48 hours. If you can, never hesitate to help a survivor, as it's not contagious. But in that case, you must know the amount of radiation someone received. One won't be in danger or show any symptoms from less than 0.5 grays to 1 gray of radiation. Now, those who get 1.5 to 3 grays of radiation can go through nausea, vomiting, and hair loss, while approximately 35% die within 30 days. Those people who got about 6 grays of radiation suffer from radiation poisoning, and the smaller half of them might survive after intense medication. Bleeding from the mouth and internal bleeding can be seen very commonly among them. However, if anyone received more than 6 grays of radiation, the guy is damaged more than anyone's imagination and almost surely will die. It might sound very rude, but it's recommended not to use your supplies and rations on the dying one. Help the healthy one survive instead. All being said, a nuclear attack is that horrifying incident that we don't expect to happen, but surely should stay prepared for. And in case that happened, means it might not be the only one. So stay vigilant for any adverse situation or any following attacks. Keep the shelter prepared and stocked up properly and stay safe. So that was all about the steps of how to survive a nuclear attack with all the survival tactics. Thanks for watching our video. Hit the like button and share this video with your friends if you find it helpful. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section.